We recently had the launch of the iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max at Apple's Wanderlust event in Cupertino, California. Here is a simple recap of the event, just focusing on the iPhones. The iPhone 15 and 15 Plus come in 5 different colors such as pink, yellow, green, blue and black, which are very much pastel colors. The 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max come in titanium black, white, blue and natural, which are not striking. I would have liked to have seen deep color choices such as red, blue, green, etc. like on previous models. You now have the dynamic island on all models of the iPhone 15, which looks slicker than the outdated notch. The great thing with the dynamic island is that it is good for seeing things like flight details or the countdown for your Uber ride, or when you're expecting your takeout from Uber Eats. Despite this, the dynamic island is still intrusive for me when watching content, which may explain why I do not use an iPhone. Because with Android devices, they have the punch hole camera, which in most cases one can hide, making for a true enjoyable viewing experience when watching content. Despite this, iPhones are still very good phones. Finally, Apple has ditched the lightning cable for the Type-C charging cable due to European regulations coming into force in 2024, meaning you now only need one industry standard cable, which is most handy if you use an Android and or iOS device. The data transfer speeds on the USB cable will differ depending on what model you choose, with 3.0 for the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max and 2.0 for the 15 and 15 Plus. Despite the switch, charging is still slow on the new iPhones. Also, the USB Type-C charging cable in the box is the 2.0, no matter which iPhone 15 model you purchase. So you will have to dig further into your pocket to buy the 3.0 if you want that fast data transfer. For me, especially after paying a lot of money for the iPhones, the high-spec cable should come as standard in the box. Come on, Apple. Apple also announced that the AirPods Pro 2nd generation now also come with USB Type-C, making things universal. One area that I pay particular attention to is presentation and unboxings. And to think all one will be getting with any of the iPhone 15 range is the device, documentation and the Type-C charging cable, which is substandard given the price of the phones, which are not cheap unless I am out of touch with reality. If you have ever seen any unboxings on Chinese phones like the Oppo Find N2 on my channel, then you will understand my observation. Worse still, Apple used to offer the charger and the headphones. Compared to last year, prices have not increased given the upgrades announced, which is great for customers given the current economic climate of high inflation, which is leading to high food and energy prices, high mortgage payments, and not to talk of an increase in gas prices at the pumps. The only price increase has been the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which has increased by $100, but the base model is now 256 gigabytes. Despite prices staying fixed overall, I do suspect different countries around the world will add a markup, especially carriers, making the iPhone 15 range more expensive than the iPhone 14 range of last year. The other thing I did notice is the always on display appears on the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, but not on the 15 and 15 Plus, which is a shame because it is a feature that should be standard across all models. Mid-range phones costing a third of the iPhone 15 have the always on display as standard. The 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max models will be made of titanium material that is used in spacecraft, thus making devices lighter and scratch resistant should it take a tumble, but only time will tell. The mute slider is now the action button on the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, which can perform a range of functions. You can use it to launch the camera and use the same button as the shutter button, making it feel like a camera in your hand. The action button effectively acts as a shortcut to any app, pull up the magnifier, flashlight, voice memo, translate, launch your favorite app, etc., which is impressive. The flip side is you can only launch one application at a time. I'm sure in due course, Apple will address this by offering a double tap for multiple applications. By the way, the mute slider still appears on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. The A17 Pro chip in the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max is a new chip which is meant to take gaming to the next level, a plus for gamers. The 15 and 15 Plus come with the A16 Bionic chip, which according to Apple is meant to be a powerhouse. There is now a 5x telephoto lens on the 15 Pro Max, thus bringing your subject closer. Also, you can now take a photo and later come back and turn it into a portrait photo. Focus and depth mode means you can now switch from one person or subject to another after the photo has been taken. The 14 and 14 Plus from last year had a 12 megapixel main camera, but this year there is a new 48 megapixel main camera for fast autofocus on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. The other noticeable feature is in America, the iPhone 15 range do not come with a SIM tray for a physical SIM. They will come with eSIM only. Other parts of the world will still have a SIM tray, but who knows for how long before that becomes standard practice across the world. So you have been pre-warned. The pros and cons of eSIM is for another video. Having a 60Hz refresh rate on the regular iPhone 15 is a bit strange because you can get a 120Hz refresh rate on mid-range phones costing a third less than the cost of an iPhone. The dynamic island appears across all models of the iPhone 15, so why not 120 Hz across all of the iPhone models? Overall with Apple, there is always a level of excitement whenever they release a new phone, and this one was no different.